fly like you stole it.
And welcome back to my channel. Now, it's been a while since I've done a video, but this is a good video for me and an exciting video and time because I am releasing my own frame. Now, this is the frame, DoomedFPVv2, but first a bit of back history on why I'm designing my own frame before I go on to the frame itself. So when I started flying good 2 years ago, I bought a frame from UK store and I broke it. It happens, frames break. So I was playing my PIDs, I lowered my min throttle, had a death row, snapped an arm. I went back to the store, but sadly they're out of stock. I ended up actually using a knitting needle across the arm, taped on to support the arm so I could carry on flying while I waited for more stock. But on YouTube I was seeing all these other frames and people going, I like this, I like that. I was going, yeah, I like that idea as well. Look quite good on the frame. Why not I just design my own frame? And that's what I did as a project. I designed my frame, I sent it to a shop, they fixed my errors and my flaws because, well, I've never done one before. There's only so much you can learn on YouTube or anywhere else, and this is what actually came about. DoomedV1. This is still my backup quad, and it still flies fine, and the carbon's still intact. You can see here that big old mess of carbon here where I hit a steel step. I was trying to power loop under something, but the frame works, but I don't quite like it. There are things I think could be better and done differently, so I've made version 2. So HS 1177 is wedged in between standoffs, doesn't quite fit. The back, again, the standoffs are too close and you have to mount all the hardware on their side to actually get it to fit. So I wanted to make some improvements and some changes, so I went away and I designed my own frame again from start to try and fix some of these. And I'll just hold up this. There was a couple of revisions, to say the least. I made mistakes. I learned from my mistakes to get me to where I am now. So one of the earlier frames, the biggest mistake was my motor mounting, 16 by 16, 19 by 19 holes, but I never rotated them round. So what you ended up with was one motor would fit down the arm just nicely as you expect them to, but this one would fit out that way or even that way, and that's just no good. You're going to crash, you're going to rip those motor wires off straight away. It's not clean, it's not neat. So I had to make some adjustments. On this one I tried out a camera cut to help it mount, some XT60 mounts to hold it in with a zip tie. Never used it, they were never any good. A nice hole in the middle, not just to save weight, but it was also meant for a buzzer, but I never actually put a buzzer in the end. And mount holes on the bottom. Now mostly it worked fine, but the motor mounts were just a washout, they were no good, which brought on this one. So this was another version. My motor mounts have changed from circles to more of a shaped look. I changed the motor mount to 16 and 19mm, which fixed my motor mount issue. But as you can see here, the amount of gap or carbon between the motor mounts and the actual edge of the arm was too thin, and it was its weakest part, and you can see that I snapped it. I kicked off a tree, 30 tree, but it hit the ground arm first, middle of summer. The ground was like concrete almost, and it broke. If it's going to break anywhere, that's exactly where it broke. So that brought me on to my next version, which was this one. See how the arms have changed. The motor mounts are still exactly the same, but the amount of carbon here and here has changed dramatically, and these should be much stronger. I still to this day have not snapped one of these, and I've hit trees, ground, concrete, the inside of a cave. Each time, dust it off, bend the pops back, and away we go again. But this is my final design. You can see that the camera hole much bigger on this one. It helps when you've got a 20mm camera and 20mm deck for the angle of mounting the camera. You can actually recess the camera in that gap just a little bit to give you that bit more room for tilting. This one has 30 and 20mm mounting stacks for FCs, a much bigger buzzer hole, but also I find it useful as when you put your FC on, you can get wires to go underneath, keeps them clean, keeps them away your stack, and you can get a pair of tweezers in there quite easily and help direct the wire through. So it has a not just the mounting purpose of a buzzer, but also has the added option of that. These slots are for under mounting a LiPo if you want to. You can get a LiPo strap around it through the gaps. XT60 you can run across the board and then through this gap here, and that should give it some support from going too far left and right. If I just grab an old LiPo, that type of thing. These arms are slightly longer because on my original base plate, there you go, backtracking a little bit here, but see these parts here, too long, not needed, and you can see the tips in FPV feed. Didn't like it. Made them shorter, made an improvement, changed the mounting hole slightly at the back as well. But the difference is, the reason I had to make the arms longer is the props I would find were too close to the body, and the LiPo hangs over just slightly. So if you have a crash and you move that LiPo left or right just a little bit, it's in the direct line of fire from the prop and it will damage it. So to temporary measure, I actually made this wedge so the LiPo sits at a downwards angle and the prop sits in this area here, protecting the LiPo, giving it some bit of protection. It worked fine, but there wasn't a final solution. So on this version, the arms are just that slightly longer, so I can comfortably take a 5-inch prop. And I fixed some other issues with the arms that I didn't quite like, and it's all been one learning experience, start to finish, from D1 to this one, from even breaking my first frame. So if I just take you through my actual frame. Here she is. So 20mm deck height, which is how I like to fly them, it's how I like to build them as well. I like that smaller compact deck. I just think it looks better than the 30mm height. It's huge, not for me. So starting with the front, FPV camera mount, TPU printed. Camera sits in, and with that nice big hole at the bottom, the camera has movement in it now. The HD camera mount is 3D printed to fit on my standoffs and screw in it. I think it's a stronger design. I don't like the double-sided sticky tape or the Velcro straps holding everything down, or zip ties. That's on there. I've never torn one of these off. I've got slightly updated versions with a hole in the back, but they should work out just well. The mounting at the back, so I have my SMA fitted directly to top there, so it's just held in by 2 M3 screws. It's TP mounted, so if it takes a hit, it flexes. and it shouldn't break straight away. I haven't actually broken one of these yet. There's a shelf in there as well, and a normal mount for normal type of FR Sky type receivers. We can actually get antenna tubes in there to run antennas out that way, or you can come out this small gap here and run them down the arm. To help with that, we did actually make these type of winglet things that can held on by that standoff screw and sit just like that. The idea is that the antenna comes out the gap into this recess under the arm and is protected in that tube there. Offers a little bit of protection and hopefully stop you from chopping the ends off. You can see that once it's mounted, it's out the prop line. Well, it can still be caught by a prop, but it's TPU and hopefully offer you a little bit more protection and protect your antennas just a little bit more. I like to run a crossfire, so you can see here I'm using that cutout there to run my antenna wire out down the frame into these two mounts here, and I got this like nip section here almost just to stop the wire or the antenna from slipping. Looks cleaner than M3 tape or zip ties, and I think it's just quicker to work on. You take the screws out and you can get all this out and away. That's just how I prefer to do it. Not saying that you should do it this way. I'm looking forward to seeing how other people build my frame, how they mount their hardware, and what solutions they come up with to make it work for them. I'm hoping that I've put enough cutouts on the bottom to give plenty of mounting options to suit everybody's needs. But one of the things I'm looking forward to seeing is other people's designs, how they've taken my frame and mounted hardware to it, what they think works, what you don't think that works. Feel free to comment below on what you find. I'm very interested to see and read what you've done, because just because I built it this way, it doesn't mean it's perfect. I just like to see how other people do it too. I know people won't build it this way. Some people don't like, I like KISS FCs or KISS ESCs. Now these arms are wide enough to take a KISS EFC on it, and I'm interested to see how people design it and build it. So I'm looking forward to that. I think a frame is, you make it your own when you build it. So that's what I'm looking forward to see. That is the frame in its entirety. Now I've flown it trees into ground. I've cartwheeled it several times. I've hit it into concrete. I tried to power loop a doorway in one of my previous videos, and even crashed it inside a cave. And each time it's fine. That is the same frame that I crashed in the cave, and there's not a mark on it. There's a bit of mud. Dust it off. Carry on. It's absolutely fine. So, when to get released? I've got a countdown. Here we go. 7 days, 17 hours. April 1st. Not an April Fool's joke. I did it that day because I thought it would be quite amusing and comical. Well, it was to myself anyway. So, April 1st gets released. It's already on the UNMANNEDTECH store. There is a wish list that you can join, so when it gets released you can get that email notification that you know it's out. But April 1st is when it'll be out. They already have the carbon top plates, bottom plates, the standoffs for and the screws. The only difference between theirs and mine is I don't have chamfered edges on this one, but the production one does. And I've been told the carbon is very, very nice and looks to be a very high quality and a good finish to it. The guys are very impressed with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it as well myself. But for now, I'm more than happy to fly my prototype until eventually ever, if I break one of these, then I know where to go to get a replacement. So that's it. That was my journey really, from my first 5-inch frame that I broke and killed, to designing my first one, to moving along, learning from my mistakes and what I've done to it to come up with this one. And I'm very happy with it and how it is, and more than happy and proud to release it into a store, and hopefully the other people will buy it, fly it, and get as much enjoyment out of building it and flying it as I had. So I'm going to end this video here now. It's beginning a bit dark outside and I'm losing the light in the room, so that's it. Now there will be links to the frame below onto the store. Feel free to check it out. If you buy one and you build one, please take pictures of it, show me what you've done. I'll be very interested to see. If you break one, again, show me. If it's something I can adjust for a future version, then I will probably look at making those adjustments and trying to make it a little bit stronger. Obviously no frame is indestructible. They will all break sooner or later. It just depends when and how hard you hit it into something. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy my frame as much as I've enjoyed making it. Thank you very much.